Today we've got Fattybagz. So I've heard that you're very familiar with NFTs and the DeFi space, and that ultimately tells me that you're well versed in the rise and fall of crypto narratives. So tell us how you originally got into the crypto space. How long ago was it? And what kind of drew you into the space and then kept you around.
Yeah, man, that's a great question. It's an extensive response from me as well. I back in like 2014, I had a buddy who hit me up and he was like, "Dude, this thing Bitcoin is the real deal, bro." He kind of gave me some information on it, and I trusted his gut, and we kind of got into this little mining deal where when mining was actually it was possible. And I remember we set up his apartment with milk crates and GPUs, and we started mining Bitcoin. Well, fast forward just a little bit, we lost everything that we had gained through whatever it was, whether it was OTC deals or it was mining. We had it all in Mount Gox, and old Mount Gox, if any of you are familiar with that, ran off with all of our beautiful coins, which was a horrible thing, and I don't even like thinking about it because the amount I think that we had back then was enough to make me cry myself to sleep every night knowing that we had lost that. So that was kind of my intro, and the first real original rug that I was part of was through Mount Gox. And from that point on, I was like, this shit's a scam. How can we do all this work and we lost everything because some people ran off with our money? So I kind of, we paused. I paid attention to the space. I kind of watched the evolution of Bitcoin. I watched where it was being utilized, and at the time, you guys know that a lot of the Bitcoin stuff was being utilized on like black markets like the Silk Road, etc. So it didn't really reinforce the fact that it was, cryptocurrency in general is a legitimate form of finance in any way, shape, or form. So moving forward, I kind of watched sidelined, waited, didn't really think much of it. Started to notice number go up, got a little bit more mad, started to see the bit more. Had some other things come up in my life to where I was working consultation jobs. So that was something. I was a green thumb. I've had so many different hobbies that it's never stopped. So I obviously wanted to get back into it when I started to see more of the hype getting behind it. And that took place quite a bit down the road. In fact, around DeFi, if you guys remember the last DeFi summer, where OlympusDAO was the most forked protocol ever. I actually joined in with those guys early on. I wrote a marketing plan for them when they were getting started. And I said, look, man, I think this is how this thing could rip. I think I would be a good fit for this protocol. Let me jump in and let me handle marketing. They read my marketing plan and they said, "Holy shit, this is big brain. Let's rock with it." So fast forward a little more, we took it. I think I forgot the market cap at the time. It was something like 12 million, and we took it to it was a 4.3 billion dollars about by the time that I exited. Moving forward, I went from Olympus and I said, you know what? I think my time here managing large teams for Olympus. I think at the time I had 30 something people working in marketing with me, a lot of really brilliant people. I learned a lot about this space, whereas there's a ton of LARPers, there's a ton of people who want to fake it till they make it. And then there's a lot of really talented individuals, anonymous individuals in this space as well. And some of those people were coming from Microsoft, from Google, from Amazon that were working with us, and they were doing this kind of as a side gig because they loved it and they were passionate about it. They were passionate about self custody, they were passionate about self sovereignty, they were passionate about the underlying blockchain technology, which was really cool to see these brilliant minds that paid hundreds of thousands of dollars for school, kind of working in the shadowy underworlds of crypto, which is another thing that we'll talk about where I want to see that kind of stigma disappear, and it's starting to do that now. And then I moved into NFTs because one night I was sitting on the bed with my wife and I was like, shit, NFTs are popping. Everyone's talking about them. I mean, I can scribble, babe. What do you think? Should I make some NFTs? And she said, just do it. So I created a project called Apeliens, which was just one of ones that I drew every night and pumped them out. And I did what I called or coined at the time shock drop auctions. So it was just me drawing some really cool art, trippy art, psychedelic art, if you will, with these weird creatures and dropping them on an OpenSea as an auction. Because at the time I didn't have the knowledge I have now, or, I've got quite a bit of blockchain development skill under my belt. And sure enough, like one sold. I think it was like $300, and I was like, "Holy shit, babe! Why are people buying my art?" She's like, "You're good. You're good." I'm like, "I'm not an artist. I'm a scribbler." And so I kept doing these auctions, and eventually the hype got so big on them that I think like one of my largest sales at the time was when with peak Ethereum at around 4K. I made like $60,000 off of a single piece of art, which was a prolific achievement for me. Looking, with imposter syndrome, going, dude, I'm not an artist, but here are these people willing to pay exuberant amounts of money for my art. So I pumped out 50 of those pieces for the total collection, and that was kind of my intro into NFTs and becoming an NFT founder, if you will, and understanding the dynamics of having a community and having a fan base and having people who appreciate your art, and then also being able to gestate and incubate that kind of community and that culture that was really important. So from Apeliens, I got an offer. Actually, I had met an individual from Microsoft that was leading their blockchain development sector of the company, and he was talking to us kind of in private about that. He's going, dude, Microsoft's digging in, and they want me at the head, and I'm working the head of it. He's like, hey, I have a friend over at Reddit that's looking for an artist. They're doing something. He didn't say what. He just said something. I said, well, shit, I know what that is. I guarantee you, it's going to be NFTs. And so Reddit reached out and said, hey, we really like your work. Would you like to be one of the kind of flagship artists for this digital collectible thing that we're doing? I said, "Ooh, digital collectibles. I see exactly what you guys are doing. Let's rock it out." So, a small group of artists, which I'm sure some of you are familiar with, myself included, kind of spearheaded Reddit's initiative into the NFT market. And that was a very interesting moment for me because what it allowed me to do was take the knowledge that I had gained through the DeFi space, through the cybersecurity space, being part of DeFi and understanding, how to make sure you do not get wrecked in this space, and just all the knowledge I had gained from being part of the space for so long. And I was able to pass that along to the newbies that were brought in from Reddit. And that was kind of like my true calling and campaign at the time. I saw an opportunity to educate because what I see is a massive onboarding event, which was Reddit passing these digital collectibles off to complete normies, if you will, with them not knowing that they're actually NFTs. So it was one of the greatest Trojan horses of onboarding that we've seen in the space, in my opinion, in all time. And they had no real idea of what they were doing or interacting with. So these normies, if you will, people who had no idea what the hell an NFT was, had this NFT and they didn't know what to do with it. So they were like brought right to the water, but they didn't jump into the water, which was the greater Web3 market. So what I did is I started educating the people that joined my server, which was Apeliens at the time. So I showed them, hey, look, I'm rocking Apeliens. We're going to do another NFT project here that has a lower barrier of entry. So all the Reddit people can get in. They can get their feet wet with NFTs, with tokens in general and blockchain technology. And I'm going to hold your hand through it so that you guys can go and grow and become something bigger in the space. And that's exactly what I did is I educated these people. And now a lot of Reddit normies who came in not knowing they owned an NFT are now part of and actively participating in the Web3 space and have gone to do their own shit, like have their own projects, who are now utter degenerates trading meme coins and doing the whole 9 yards. They're deep rooted in Web3 now. So that onboarding event was an opportunity for me to educate. And that's something that I preach to everybody in this space is that education equals retention. You'll hear me say it a million times. The only way that we're going to get this thing mainstream, and that being Web3 and crypto and blockchain technology, is to make sure that we educate individuals that join, because there's nothing that deters someone from wanting to be part of this space more than losing money. So that's kind of my crusade from Bitcoin to Olympus, being the CMO for Olympus, taking that protocol with a really talented group of people to a $4.3 billion market cap, participating within the DeFi space, meeting a lot of really awesome, intelligent, powerful people, and then kind of segueing into this NFT project that I really loved, having success there, and then bouncing into Reddit, having success there, and then taking that as a way for me to campaign and educate the masses as best I can. And then that leads us up to the current time, which is now. So I'm participating in the space. I'm watching carefully. I'm an active trader, obviously. I hold mini bags and different coins. But I always make sure to take the initiative to educate people and to help them from getting wrecked, and to make sure that they have a good time while they're here and make intelligent decisions so that we can retain them and thus grow the space. So that's my 30,000 foot way of chipping away at individuals to keep them here and help grow Web3, bro.